Good evening, everybody. So I had some technical difficulties with with my audio recording device at the beginning of the presentation here. So I'm just going to quickly re-record the audio from this, and then I'll bring the audio feed in from the actual presentation itself. So this is for the Winlink Express presentation that took place for the Ottawa County Amateur Radio Auxiliary group that met on March 14th, 2019 at the Ottawa County EOC. What is Winlink? Well, Winlink is a global messaging system for sending and receiving email over RF, Telnet, or satellite. You're able to send messages through an RMS network or peer-to-peer. Peer-to-peer meaning direct with another station, and RMS networks, or the RMS network is a server-based where you can store messages and they can be later retrieved by your recipient. You're able to work in grid-down situations. And you're able to send and receive attachments, position reports, weather reports, bulletins, etc. to assist in disaster relief or for personal information and safety. This is where the audio comes back in, so I'll go ahead and bring the audio in now. And again, my apologies, and here we go with the actual audio from the presentation. Really wonderful. As long as you have an antenna, radio, a TNC or a software-based TNC and the appropriate cables and a solar panel and battery, you're good to go. I've seen guys work Winlink stations just out in the middle of the woods on HF, which I think is really cool, being able to do that. They have a little computer with them, and you can even use a Raspberry Pi on the Winlink network, which is really cool. So. Another cool thing, lastly, you're able to send and receive attachments, position reports, weather reports, bulletins to assist in disaster relief situations or for personal information, just for the geeks if you're into that thing, and of course for safety, personal and group safety as well. Big thing to know, at the very most, all you need is a technician license to get on Winlink, and that will take care of you for VHF and UHF Winlink operation, as well as packet as well. If you want to work the HF Winlink stations, you will need a general license at most. So just that little disclaimer there. So how do you get Winlink Express? Easy, winlink.org. Head over there. And I should note here, the Winlink Express program is a Windows-only program. I don't remember the specs off the top of my head, but I know it works Windows 7 and later. It might work on XP, I don't know. But definitely 7 and later.
Zach?
Yes?
You said on Monday Night Net, you said something about you were using your Mac computer. How did you have that set up? Did you have divided and then Windows on one half, or did you use it as a...
Good question. Yes, I have a dedicated PC at home, a Windows 10 PC at home that I run. Now, what I do is, because of my visual impairment, I use TeamViewer to remote into my Windows PC so I can use my Mac's screen magnification. And I just remote into my Windows PC, which is like just 3 feet over from where I sit, and use my screen magnification on my Mac. And that's how, so when I said I was using my Mac, technically, no, I was using my Windows PC or my Windows machine, but I was remoting in from my Mac.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Do you know anyone that uses a Mac and has it divided? I have a Mac Air, and I have Windows on half of the hard drive, and I have the OS on the other half. And
fun fact, I used to run Windows 10 in a virtual environment on my Mac.
Mine's not virtual, though.
Oh, it's not virtual?
No, sir.
Oh, okay. Boot camp? Is that
Yes.
what it is? Okay, it's boot camp. I don't know anybody that's done it, but I'm sure it would be possible to do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes and no.
It's just probably going to depend on drivers and all that stuff, probably.
Okay, very good.
Yep.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So to find the download, it's a little bit buried, so I'm going to walk you through real quickly on how to get it. Where do you download? Well, at the very top of the page here in the navigation bar, you'll click on User Programs. Scroll down to the near the bottom, and on the right-hand side, you'll see Winlink Express. I've got it circled. I don't know how well you can see. Oh, that's pretty visible. You'll click on that. You'll be taken to this page. When I first got Winlink, I thought I was downloading it just by clicking on this on the Winlink, and I'm like, go to my downloads folder. Where is it? No, I missed a step. Once you get to this page, and unfortunately I didn't get a screen grab of this, scroll to the very bottom, and there is the Winlink file. It's a zip file. So download that zip file for Winlink Express. Navigate to your downloads folder or wherever you go wherever your downloads go, and double click on it or right click and extract. That will extract the installer. Double click on the installer and follow the setup prompts, and you'll have Winlink installed for you. Launch Winlink, and once you're there, I haven't set up Winlink in a while, and I for some reason I had some trouble on my virtual environment getting it set up. I think I was running out of disk space in my virtual environment, unfortunately. But once you open Winlink, it should take you to this screen that you see here. This is the Winlink Express setup screen. If it doesn't automatically take you there and you're at the main Winlink window, which I'll show a slide of that in just a few moments, you'll click on Settings, and it's the very top item in Settings, Winlink Express Setup. And that will take you to this. At the bare minimum, fill out your call sign. Also, your grid square. I have, on the right-hand side, I have my information filled out here. It's up to you how much you want to provide in this area. I did this just so the Winlink people knew who I was and whatnot. Don't worry about the registration key. The registration key is if you want to pay so you don't get the pop-ups in Winlink Express. Winlink is free to use. It's not a trial version. Use it as much as you want. You have access to all features and everything. The registration is completely optional. You just get a pop-up now and then that just reminds you, hey, register and help support the Winlink network. Registration is $24.
Zach,
Yes.
when I was setting mine up the other night, I didn't put all the information on the right-hand side of the screen like you had there.
Yes.
And it kept kicking me out, saying, we need this, we need this.
You do need that. Okay.
Okay. At least that's what it did for me.
Okay.
Maybe, you know.
Maybe that's changed then, because I remember not filling a lot of this out and it worked fine for me, but that was
Not that it was an issue for me, but
right.
I know that if you're thinking, okay, I just need to fill this out, and all of a sudden, nope. You know, it doesn't have, I wish they would asterisk that and say it's a required field if that's what they want.
See, and I agree with you, and that's why I didn't really think anything of it. But you know, how long ago did I fill this out? 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So maybe things, I don't know, things have changed. I am running the latest and greatest version of Winlink Express as well, so I don't know. But that's good info there, Kim. And one other thing about password. Once you send your first Winlink message, the Winlink people will send you a password. Kim, you just went through this setup. Maybe, am I correct on that?
I got the note from them back saying, you know, wait 5 minutes and then connect to somebody who's on the network.
Okay.
I haven't done that part yet.
Okay. So
But
you
they-
don't have a,
But I do have, you know, I did get the notification back that, yep, you're on our system, you just need to connect with somebody to kind of complete their setup, I think.
Okay.
I'm assuming that's what it is.
okay, so you have not gotten a password yet.
Correct.
Correct. Okay. once you reconnect to like Dave's Note or something like that, you should be able to you should get an email containing your password. So that's how it worked for me, at least. But I know there's been a lot of changes in the back end of Winlink since then, and unfortunately, I haven't been able to try this out myself since I'm already registered with Winlink for my call sign. So, yeah. But anyway, so just maybe then to be safe, fill out the information on the right here, or try it yourself. Provide as little information as you want. See if you can proceed. This is the main window of Winlink Express. And just so you know, during the presentation, if you hear me talk about the main window, this is the window I'm talking about here. And feel free to explore and look around. You're not going to hurt anything. Never hurts to just poke around and look around at things and see how things work. So we already addressed some of this. To get a Winlink email address, you got to send an email first, and Kim's already completed that step. And then you'll need to reconnect after a few minutes, and you should have an email from the Winlink people containing your password. Once you have that password, you'll revisit the Winlink setup screen under settings and put in your password, and you should be good to go. The best way to get a Winlink email address and go through the whole process is to use the Winlink Express program, this program. So, yeah, and another thing to note, your Winlink email address will be your call sign at winlink.org. I've come across guys that will say winlink.net. It's winlink.org, just so you know. Big note here, and this is really important. If your account is inactive for more than 400 days, it will be purged from the Winlink system. So make sure you use it within 400 days. Otherwise, it gets purged from their system, and you'll have to go through and redo the whole sign-up process all over again as if you were a new Winlink user, which means you'll get a new password and everything. So just a heads up on that. And the other thing to note, you must use a client program to count towards that 400-day quota, so you have to use Winlink Express to connect. Telnet sessions are okay. So if you don't have a physical radio connection to Winlink, you can connect via Telnet, and that will count towards your that will count towards the 400 days. So you're good there. Web logins, you can check your Winlink messages through winlink.org, the website. However, those logins do not count towards your 400 days. So get in the habit of using your client program to check your email. Now, fortunately, Winlink Express is very similar to other email programs like Outlook and things like that. So if you already I know everybody in this room is very familiar with emails. So if you're familiar with an email program, you'll figure out like where the composition window is and how to compose a message. And as you can see here, it's under message and new message, or I don't have a pointer with me, but the little icon up in the upper left corner, right under my call sign, that is a new message button, and you can click that as well, and that will take you to a new compose window as well. This is what it looks like.
Hey, Zach,
Yes.
can I interrupt?
Yeah.
For just a sec. So, for the dumb ones in the class,
Uninitiated.
so you're on a computer right now, doing, like email message. You're saying we can do this through our radio?
Yes, this is all. Yes, Winlink is RF based. You can't check your Gmail account through radio.
Right.
Yeah, you can only check your Winlink email.
Using a radio like this?
I'm sorry?
Using a radio like this, or?
Well, packet station.
Yeah, packet station.
And
Yeah.
you have to connect to you have to connect to an RMS server to
You
do
need
that.
this program to connect
Okay.
with
Yes.
the radio, so the two go hand in hand.
Yes. Yeah, you can't use like Outlook or anything like that.
Right,
To,
okay,
yeah.
sorry.
Nope, you're fine.
No,
Nope.
Good question.
Yeah, no, it's a good question. It's a valid question. I've tried figuring it out. I'm like, I wonder if there is a way to use Outlook or something for this. Yeah, no.
Exactly.
Well, you can use a packet or a audio interface for HF,
Mm-hmm.
but HF is gonna be slower at 300 watts.
Yes.
Before
Yes.
you get any further on there, I don't know if it's coming up yet or not, but on that main screen,
Mm-hmm.
I usually use up on the top row and over to the right, it says open session.
Getting there.
You got that coming up yet?
Yes.
Okay.
It's coming up.
I'll let you do that.
Nope. You're good, Phil. Thank you. So this is the composition window in Winlink Express. Cool thing to note, if you're sending an email to another Winlink user and you know for a fact they have Winlink and a Winlink email address, you can just type in their call sign in the to area. You don't have to add @winlink.org or anything like that. You can just type in their call sign, and Winlink Express will know how to handle that. If you're going to send an email to an internet-based email address like your @Gmail or whatever email address, you have to type the email address as you normally would. So KE8BSM@gmail.com.
Does it have an address book?
Yes, it does have an address book, and you can. And unfortunately, I didn't really cover that in this presentation, but there is an address book. It's actually down in the lower left-hand corner under contacts. And I believe you can go to, it's under settings or messages where you can actually bring up the address book and add new contacts and stuff. Let's see. So one big thing to note, and Kim, this is what you and I, what we were talking about. It's where this program differs compared to a traditional email program. There's no send button in this program, and that's because this program is not intended for internet stuff like your Mac program or Outlook or anything like that. You click a send button, the email goes on its merry way. There's a couple extra steps you have to do first. You need to click on, once you've composed your message, you need to click on the post to outbox, and that will put the email and store your email in your outbox. And once you've done that, then you can start a Winlink session of any type, and the email will go on its merry way. And I am coming up to that in just a moment. Some things to note, though, and pardon me, I'm going to read my screen for this because there's a lot here. Messages are not encrypted, so do not send emails containing personal, confidential, or sensitive information. Anybody can decode your Winlink messages. Another thing that's not in here that I should bring up that did come up on Monday night, do not use Winlink to conduct business, just the same as, in anything ham radio, the rules are you can't conduct business using amateur frequencies, and Winlink is no exception to that. So I want to throw that in there. Messages are compressed into the B2F format. It's just a compression format. Don't worry about it. The Winlink Express program will handle all the compression and decompression for you. Nothing you need to do. Please keep emails short and to the point, especially in an AUXCOM or MCOM situation. Large emails are going to take longer to send. So if you're going to send like a 50 KB attachment, you're going to be there for a while. So keep that stuff in mind. Big thing to note, people sending messages to Winlink email addresses from regular email addresses must add a //WL2K without the quotations that you see in the presentation. The reason why you have to, and you add that to the subject line, the reason why you have to do that is because the Winlink guys don't want like your Amazon spam and whatnot coming into the Winlink network. So appending this will allow the message from an internet-based email address like your Gmail address to get through to the X person's Winlink address. So remember to add the //WL2K in the subject line. Winlink emails are limited to 120 kilobytes. If you're going to send a 120 kilobyte email and you're going to do it over radio, you're going to be there for a long while. So please bear that in mind. Another thing to note, please keep messages amateur radio friendly. Because like I said before, your messages are not encrypted. They're just compressed. So don't use inappropriate text or attachments, no illegal or immoral text or attachments, and so on and so forth, but we're all hams, and we all know that. And make sure, big thing to note, make sure the receiving party of your emails is aware of that. For example, when we had the windstorms a couple years ago, I used Winlink to send email to my parents, let them know I was okay. I made sure to tell them, this email is coming through or using ham radio airwaves and frequencies. Don't talk about anything confidential and things like that. I made sure to include that in my message to my parents. So, all right. So to get started, just to make things simple, we'll discuss Telnet Winlink first here. So to get a Telnet Winlink, you've composed your message. It's waiting in the outbox ready to be transmitted. So let's get that message transmitted. So at the main Winlink Express window here, under the session type here, you can see there's a lot of different types of sessions you can choose. At the very top of the list is Telnet Winlink. Go ahead and click Telnet Winlink, and then you're going to go over to the left where it says Open Session, and you're going to click Open Session. Next, you should see a screen similar to this. I did not have to do any configuration at my end to get Telnet Winlink up and running. I just had to start a session and away I go. So the third button from the left there's a Start button. And once you click that Start button, you should see a screen similar to this within 5 to 10 seconds. Telnet uses your existing internet connection, just so everybody is aware of that. So you should see a screen like this, and as you can see, I received a message at this point from the Northern California Winlink net. That's probably the net reminder, I'm guessing. Yep. So if you see a screen similar to this, congratulations, your message that was in your outbox should be moved to your sent folder, and that email is on its way to whomever you send it to. So this is a good thing. If you see any errors, it will let you know what those are. I've never seen an error message on Telnet before, but there's always a first time. Does anybody have any questions so far at this point about setup or the Telnet session? I think I'm good. All right.
I just got a comment.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm kind of like what Steve was saying, kind of dumb at that kind of stuff, and I went to that newsletter, winlink.org.
Yes.
And you start off from this row up at the top, but there's a little paragraph in there that tells you how to get started on Winlink.
Mm-hmm.
And they got a Winlink Express highlighted. It just says click here, and I clicked there, and I was on my way, and it just told me step by step.
Oh, wonderful.
And I thought, well, this is simple. Next thing you knew, I was ready to go.
Wonderful.
So
Wonderful. Okay. Wonderful. I didn't do that. I watched YouTube videos and that figured it out. But no, that's good to know. That's there.
I think over the years they must have really refined it to
They
make it
probably
easy for people.
They probably have, because I know the Winlink Express program is just it's a hot ticket application right now. So I'm sure it's come a long way, even in 2 years since I've downloaded it. I'm sure it's come a long way.
Hey, Zach?
Yes.
Is there any opportunity for you or willingness to share this PowerPoint with us? Like email it to us? So we can-
Absolutely. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to upload it to my YouTube channel.
Okay.
And it will be available there. But Phil, if I were to send you, well, actually, I already sent it to you. I sent you the slides on PDFs. Do you have a way you can put that?
But I could send it out to everybody that's on this list.
Wonderful. Let's do that. That'd be great. Yep. So
That'd be awesome.
I can get. Yep. It's a PDF version of what you're seeing here.
Totally cool, yeah.
All right.
And I can set it up on my laptop, and then when I have questions, I'll just scream at you.
Yeah. Yeah. Or email me too.
Yeah.
Yeah. My email. Yeah, for everybody, my email address is good on QRZ. I try to respond unless I'm out of town. I try to respond pretty quick to emails.
I'm
So
gonna try and take my weather laptop to work with me every day now and just have it set up in the corner and let it run.
There you go.
Yeah.
there you go. Cool. We'll move on here. We'll talk about now software TNCs. And Kim, I apologize. I don't talk about hardware TNCs because there's a lot of configuration stuff, and we'd be here until probably 11 o'clock if I were to talk about that. So to keep things simple, I'm going to focus on the UZ7HO sound modem, which is a software-based TNC, and it works really well. So some things to note about this. As I just said, each radio setup is going to be different depending on if you use a signal link or a rig blaster or a physical TNC like a Camtronics K3 Plus. I apologize if I got that wrong. Or if your radio has a built-in TNC, or if your radio even has a built-in sound card. It's all going to depend. And there's just way too much information there. We'd be here all night if we went through every radio setup. Here's the cool thing. If you're already on the digital mode, so if you're on PSK 31 or FT8 or any of those digital modes, half the battle's already fought, because that means you've already got your signal link or configured with your radio. So you should be good to go. The only things you might need to adjust, especially on the VHF packet side of things, you might need to just adjust your volume, your TX and RX input-output on the signal link. Where did I leave? Oh, cool. Cool thing about this program is that it eliminates the need for a hardware-based TNC. So I don't know how much TNCs. How much are TNCs, Kim? Like a couple $100 if you buy them brand new?
Depends which ones you get, but KPCs and Telwave are 200.
200? Okay.
219.
Okay.
A TNCX is about, if you buy it, I think it's about $80, and if you buy the kit, it's like $45, $50.
Yeah. Yep.
Depends on what you want it to do.
Yep, exactly. And how much control you want of your
Yeah.
TNC as well. So, very good. Yeah, and thank you, Nick. I forgot about the TNCX. Dire Wolf is another software TNC that you can use, and it does work well. And I actually run both. You don't have to run both, but I like flip-flopping between the two. Really no benefit. Dire Wolf was just something for me to experiment with and try. And it does work great. But to save time, we'll stick to UZ7HO's sound modem tonight. So where do you get sound modem? I'm not even going to try to announce this link, which I'll be emailing this, or I'll have Phil email this presentation to everybody here, and you can reference the link here. And at the very bottom of the page, you'll see soundmodem100.zip. That is the program you need. When I first discovered UZ7HO sound modem, I thought I had to get the HS sound modem. Nope. And I found out very quickly that that's for high-speed stuff. So don't download the HS sound modem program. Make sure you download sound modem 100. Now, the 100 is the version number. So depending on when you're downloading this or when this gentleman updates his sound modem program, that number may be higher. So just make sure you download sound modem XXX for the version number, whatever it is. Right now it's 100. And the nice thing is it's a self-contained program, so once you download it, extract the zip file, and you'll see sound modem, the actual program. You can drop it anywhere. You can put it on your desktop. I've got mine residing in a special ham radio application folder. No need to really install anything. It just open it and away you go. Which leads us into what it looks like. So this is what you're greeted with when you launch sound modem for the first time. One couple things that you need to set up first. Up in the upper left-hand corner, just under settings, where it says A, you're going to need to change that. I don't remember what it's set to by default, but you'll need to change it to AFSK AX25 1200 baud. And that is the VHF baud rate and packet protocol used. And the other thing that you need to change, just to the right of that, there's a number that says 1700. I think when you first install this, it sets you at 1700, but if it doesn't, make sure you set that number to 1700. I'm not sure what the significance of that is, but every video I've looked at on YouTube regarding sound modem, everybody said make sure that's set to 1700, so I did that. Next, you're going to visit settings, and you're going to click on devices. And this is what you see here. As you can see, my radio is an ICOM 9100 that has an internal sound card. And so I just have that. If you have a signal link, you'll set your input and output for your signal link device. And just make sure that your settings are pretty much similar to this. I have AGWP enabled. You do not need to enable it, but I'm doing some experimentation with this program for another program, and it requires AGWP. So that's why I have that enabled. Just make sure you have KISS enabled, and I believe the standard KISS port is 8100. So just look at this screen. And the only big difference you'll need to focus on is your input and output for your sound card. Oh, and then I should note, once you're done, click OK. It may ask you to restart sound modem. So just close out a sound modem and go back in, and you should be good to go. And once you're back in, go ahead and go back into settings and click on modems. And again, copy everything that you see here. Don't worry about the stuff on the right-hand side under channel B. You don't need to worry about that. Just make sure that channel A is for both the top and bottom panels there. Just make sure the stuff under channel A is configured. And again, the settings you see here will do just fine for you. And then we'll go ahead and we'll start a Winlink session here. What you'll do is you'll bring up Winlink Express, and in that the session type dropdown, you'll select Packet Winlink, and then to the left of that, you'll click Open Session, and this is the window that you see here. And if you see this window, you're good. But there's one thing that you need to do. You'll need to visit Settings. Click on Settings, and once you do that, this is the window that you see. Make sure that you use KISS for the TNC packet TNC type. For the model, choose normal. For the serial port, you're going to set it to TCP and set it to your home host address. Set it for 1200 baud. And for these numbers work great for me. You might need to do a little tweaking, but these are just good numbers for you to start with. And the big thing to note, make sure that Enable iPoll is checked. Make sure that is checked, otherwise it doesn't work. And once you've done that, hit update. When you hit update, it may automatically close out of the Packet Winlink session, but it should reopen itself. If it doesn't, just open the session again manually by clicking the open session button in the main window. And once you've done that, that's pretty much it. So if you had any emails in your outbox, those should have gone through. If you had emails waiting for you in the Winlink system, those should have come to you as well. So some things to note here. The West Michigan VHF packet frequency is 145.070 megahertz. And there's no offset and no PL. It's a simplex connection. Another thing to note, if applicable, make sure your radio is in data mode. Now, if you have an ICOM 9100 and you're going to be using my method and using a software-based TNC, you have to put your radio into data mode. And on my radio, I have to hold down the FM AM button for a couple seconds, and then I get a little D icon on my radio display. And that activates the USB port for data connections. Real helpful tip, all VHF packet Winlink gateways have an SSID of 10. So Dave's node, W8 RSA, his Winlink node is -10. Jeff's node is KD8 THX -10. So in the Winlink session window here, as you can see, I have KD8 THX -10 in the in that first text box there. And I'll get to digipeating in just a little bit here. This is what a successful Packet Winlink session looks like. As you can see, I did not have any messages waiting for me, and I didn't have any going out, so it was just a simple boom, boom, boom. It takes, I never really timed how long it takes. It doesn't take very long if you don't have any emails.
About 5 seconds.
Yeah, 5-10 seconds, yeah, something like that. It's real short, which is great.
It checks to see if you've received any messages and if you've got some to be sent. So
Mm-hmm. Yep. So depending if you have any messages coming in or going out, your session time may may last a little bit. I know because I check in sometimes to the Northern California net on Monday. KF6OBI, I think that's his call sign, does the weekly net reminder, and he has a rather large attachment, and Dave understands this. It takes like 4 minutes for me to receive that email if I do it over RF. So it's can take a while for large attachments, but so that's what a successful Winlink session looks like. And I thought I talked about digipeating, but depending on where you are, if you're close enough to Dave or Jeff's node, you should be able to get in directly. So under the connection type, change it from digipeater to direct. That will gray out these two boxes here, the two boxes on the right of Jeff's call sign there. It will gray those out, and you should be good to go. If you're unable to connect, go ahead and select digipeater, and you can use K8DAA or K8OEC to digipete, and I find throughout the county that those two work the best. I cannot get into either node directly, so I do have to digipete at least once. So that's why I have that there. So just a little tip for you for anybody that's new and just getting into this. And that's all I have for VHF Packet Winlink. Any questions so far on that?
Once the message is off the server, it's gone for good?
I'm sorry?
Once the message is downloaded onto yours, is it gone for good?
It is. It's off the server. Yep.
Gone.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. It's off the server. It's on your computer, and that's the only place it resides.
Okay.
Yep.
Very good.
I do wish there was a way to keep messages on the server, and actually there might be a setting for you to keep your message on the server. In fact, I feel like I saw somewhere there is an ability to keep your message on the server for X amount of days, but don't quote me on that, and unfortunately I don't have my Windows computer here, so I can't open the program and verify that. But there might be a way under settings and Winlink setup. Maybe in there. We'll go ahead and we'll talk about Winmore Winlink real quickly. And Nick, I do apologize. I didn't talk about RDOP or VARA or any of those other ones just to save some time here. But the big thing to note when you're going to work on the HF side of things, you don't need sound modem running. And that's because RDOP and Winmore all have TNCs built into Winlink Express that handles that automatically. So you don't need to worry about sound modem running. So just go ahead and close it if you're going to do any Winmore sessions.
Zach, I'm installing this stuff on my desktop,
Yes.
and I've already got a signal link there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you do it with Winmore, does that bypass the signal link?
No, it will use your signal link.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah. You don't need to run a software TNC outside of Winlink Express
Okay.
when you're doing the HF stuff, and that's because the Winmore protocol has a built-in TNC, software-based TNC into Winlink Express.
All right.
Yep. But it does use your signal link. So yeah, don't disconnect your signal link. You'll still need that. So the big thing to note here, under the session, this is what a Winmore session window looks like. And just like we did for VHF packet, for the initial setup, you need to visit settings, and you're going to click on Winmore TNC setup. That's going to take you to this screen, and you'll set your input and output capture device and playback device for your signal link or your radio, whichever program you're using. Everything else you really don't need to worry about. Leave the session bandwidth at 500 hertz. Drive level, you may need to experiment with that a little bit because you don't want to overdrive. All of these modes are 100% duty cycle. So you definitely don't want to use a lot of power, and you definitely do not want to overdrive. So you may need to do some adjusting on your radio and in here with your drive level, just so you know. Once you've configured all this, click on Update. And I do know for a fact clicking Update here will close out the Winmore session window. It will close out this big window here, but it should automatically reopen up. If it doesn't, just click Open Session. And I should have mentioned this earlier, and I apologize. In the main Winlink window, from the drop-down list of session types, you'll click on Winmore Winlink. And then click Open Session, and this is the window that you'll see. So I apologize. I didn't include a slide of that. Next, you need to set up your radio settings. And to do that, you'll click on Settings and Radio Setup. And this is the screen you see. You will need to set up the screen for your particular radio. If you're using a signal link, under the PTT port, set it to external. Because that the signal link, if my understanding is correctly, it kind of creates a Vox connection between your computer and radio. So make sure that if you're using a signal link, make sure you set your PTT port as external from the list. Some radios have PTT support built in, and you can select your radio from the drop-down list on the left-hand side there. So this screen is going to be dependent on your radio. You might have different options, and you might have to do different things to make it work. But for my particular setup, this is how I have it working. This is the Winmore TNC. This is the software TNC window, and here you can see your waterfall, as well as the constellation of the signal, as well as your radio's volume control, or not volume control. I'm sorry, but your volume level. And as you can see, I'm in the green. I'm kind of at the bottom end of green, which is good. That's what you want. But there's really nothing you need to do in here. But I just wanted to snag a picture of it just so you could see what the TNC looks like. Another thing to note, when you click on open session, not only does this window open, but the little Winmore TNC window also opens up when you click open session. When you close out of this big window here, it will also close the Winmore TNC window as well. So how do you find stations? Well, in the top row here, it is the fourth one from the left, you'll see channel selection. You'll click that, and that will take you to this window. And this will show you all the different Winmore stations that you can connect to. And double-clicking on a station will automatically tune your radio to that station, and will put you on the right dial frequency and all that. Note on the colors here, if you look at the two rightmost columns, all of those are green. I have a program called the ITS propagation program, and unfortunately, I don't have time to talk about it tonight. But that program will analyze where I am compared to where these stations are and predict a propagation path. Green, good, yellow. If these were yellow, it would mean you might struggle, and red means forget about it. And one thing I will say about these, experiment. Try connecting to different stations. I spent a week trying to connect to different stations at different times of the day on different bands, and now I know what stations I can connect to reliably at all the time on any band at different times of day. So that ITS propagation program is really helpful, but feel free to experiment and find out what stations work best for you in your area. Once you've double-clicked on a station from the list, go ahead and click the Start button and see if you can establish a connection. As you can see, the station that I tried, it didn't work. So it's going to be a hit or a miss as you're going through your experimentation. But if successful, you would see a screen identical to your Telnet or Packet Winlink session. Final thought on HF. The setup and configuration is similar for the RDOT modes and for VARA. So if you can get your Winmore, set up and working properly, getting RDOT up and running and getting VARA up and running will be pretty similar. The only thing with VARA is VARA requires their TNC that you actually have to download separately. It's not part of the Winlink program, Winlink Express program, and I don't even remember the URL for it.
RDOP's the same way, you gotta become part of the user group.
You do? For RDOT?
Yep.
Interesting. I have the RDOT TNC built in.
When I downloaded here not too long ago, RDOP was not included in that.
Interesting.
Hmm,
Okay.
yeah.
Oh, that is interesting.
I'm not sure about that, Nick.
Well, when I downloaded it here probably several months ago, and I started playing with it, I haven't got back around playing with it. I have to actually download RDOT separately, RDOT 2.0.
Okay.
Oh,
Because there's RDOT 1 and there's RDOT 2 where the RDOT group's going to, it's an open groups.io
okay.
one. There's just like, we've got the files there, you can go there and download the most stable.
Okay.
Mode, you know,
Good to know. Yeah, that's interesting because I know on my system, when I start a RDOP session, it automatically loads the RDOP TNC for me. I didn't have to download it; it was just there. So, that's good to know, Nick. So something must have changed then, or something. But okay,
unless they got put in, I don't know, the last one I downloaded, it didn't include RDOP, so I downloaded it.
Okay.
Okay.
That's actually really good to know. Any questions before I continue about the HF? Are we good? Cool. All right, forms. This is forms are really cool. Winlink Express comes with a lot.
List of them, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's a huge list. I don't even know how many. I didn't count, but there's at least 100 different forms in there that you can fill out. I'll show you. I don't have the entire list because it would require a lot of pictures, but we'll give you an idea here. But there are tons of forms you can fill out. What's really cool about Winlink Express is if you're savvy, you can create your own custom forms for your custom needs, for your agency or personal use, whatever. The two forms I'm going to focus on today are going to be the ARRL NTS radiogram and ICS 213 forms. What's cool about forms is they're stored on your hard drive, so you don't need internet access to fill out a form, even though the form is filled out within a browser, a web browser like Google Chrome or Firefox. You do not need an internet connection to fill out the forms. They're just there. It just uses your browser as the middleman for you to fill it out. And what's really cool is once you fill out a form, you click the submit button and it will automatically take your form and put it into the email, either as an attachment or just as a plain text email. And I'll show you what that looks like here in a few slides. So how do you find the forms? Well, you're going to open up a compose window, and you're going to click on the select template. As you can see what I have in a square there. You'll click that. That brings up this window, the template manager. And as you can see, there are a lot of forms, as Phil mentioned there. And there's a lot of little pluses there that you can expand these different items down, and there's a lot of forms that you can peruse and look at. And feel free to, poke around in here and explore the different forms. There's a lot. Some states have their own forms, and I haven't even explored them all yet. And there's some new ones in here that I haven't seen before either. There's some for shares now, so I definitely want to take a look at those. So what you're going to do is find the form that you want, and you're going to double click on it. Once you double click on it, it will open your default web browser. I find Google Chrome works, but I'm sure it works fine under Firefox as well. If anybody has any experience with other browsers, feel free to chime in when it comes to forms. This is what an ARRL NTS radiogram looks like in the web browser. You'll fill this out just like you would an NTS. So I've got my message number, my handling instructions, my precedence, all that information. I just did a kind of a sample message. It's kind of hard to read, but I kind of just filled this form out pretending I was sending it to my uncle in Kansas, who's a fellow ham. And that was that. So fill out the form just like you would a paper NTS, except you're doing it on a keyboard. Once you fill out your form, you'll click the submit button. And once you do that, this is what it looks like inside your compose window once it's all set and complete. So in this case, it's going to go to region 10, and hopefully we all know how to read radiograms in here, but that's what it looks like. So once I fill out that form, click submit, I see this. I can click post to outbox and start a Winlink session, and off my traffic will go to the region net manager, net controller, whoever it needs to go to.
Zach,
Yes.
this NTS thing, is there such a thing as an NTS net, digital net that you just send these things back and forth?
There is, and I don't remember the frequency off the top of my head. I know it's on 80 meters.
Oh, okay, it's HF.
It is HF, yes.
Okay.
It's the, I have the website bookmarked in my favorites. It's the Digital Traffic Net is what it's called.
I would expect that this would be a lot more efficient than voice.
Yes, yep, because even if bands aren't good and you're just not able to make out, and you've got guys that don't know CW, this is your next best thing. It will be the digital side, and and there's error correction in the digital modes. So if the receiving station didn't catch part of your transmission, it will automatically ask for a repeat, and your station will repeat, and hopefully it caught it the second time, and then it will carry on until the message is fully delivered. So,
Okay.
Yep, yes, there is a digital net. They don't use Winlink. I think they use like Olivia or something like that, which is another mode.
Boy, you can do these forms on is it Outpost?
Outpost, correct.
Via packet as well, so.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes, you can. And I'll talk about this later on when it comes to the Outpost conversation. But the one limitation with Outpost is Outpost cannot do HF. Winlink Express, you can do HF and VHF within Winlink Express, which I think that might be the big reason why people are starting to flip to Winlink Express. I'm not sure. And as I said, after you fill out your form, it's as simple as posting it to your outbox and starting a Winlink session, whether it's HF Winmore or RDOP or VARA or VHF packet, and just sending the email on its way. This is what an ICS 213 form looks like, and I will be perfectly honest with you. I haven't had much experience with this form yet. I know when I start doing some ICS training, I'm pretty sure we'll be talking about this form extensively. But this is what it looks like in a web browser, and you can fill this out per your incident commander or whomever's coordinating efforts, and that's what that looks like. I apologize, I don't have one filled out, and I looked for some examples, but they were I don't think they looked anything like this. So, but I did try. Cool thing about forms is a lot of them will have like a little instructional button where you're in the form and there might be like a question mark, or it actually might even spell out help. You can click on it and it will bring up a little box like this, and it will go into detail about the form and what it's all about and how it works, which is really, really cool. So I did some light reading a couple nights ago on the ICS 213 forms just to see what it was. And it talked about like how they work using Winlink a little bit as well, which was cool. So this is a resource request IS 213 form. Phil, are there different differences between the request resource forms and just a regular 213?
Yeah, 'cause I think they all fall under 213s if it's some sort of a message.
Mm-hmm.
And a resource request is when they want to send it out and say, say, I need a couple of bulldozers over at this location, and they fill that thing out, and they just covered all that here in this ICS 400. But these forms here, if you were involved in a really big incident and you were part of an incident command team, these are the things that they would be using. And as you recall, when Nick Bonstell went down to Florida, when was it, in December?
So,
Was it
I think
December
so,
January?
or November or something.
December, I think.
Yeah, I
He
think
spent
so.
3 weeks down
maybe.
there, and all the communications was by Winlink,
Okay.
in and out of the EOC where he was working, and they had to fill out these kind of things with. They probably hand wrote it and somebody typed it in to the Winlink and sent it out.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Cool. Well, thank you, Phil. And yeah, that definitely helps out a lot. So yeah, that's what a resource request 213 form looks like. And again, I didn't really look for examples on this forum, but I just want to make you all aware that they're there, especially since I know because of areas, these are the forums that the two big ones. I'm sure there's probably others that we look at, but I'm still going through my training as well. So still learning about everything and what's all what. Some things to know about these forums though. As I said, there are lots of them. And again, most of them will have instructions on how to use them, which is great. I think the big thing to note here, and these 3 final points are huge. Don't be afraid to poke around the forums and look at it. You're not going to hurt anything just by looking around and viewing the forums in your browser. They're there for you to look at, and you want to know how they work before you step in an MCOM or OXCOM situation. Just because you don't want to walk into a situation that you're not familiar with. It's not good for you. It's not helpful to the people that you're working with, and it's definitely not good for the people that you're providing aid for, because as ham radio operators, our job is to provide accurate reporting and communication. So all I can say to that is training is key when it comes to these forums. And like Phil just talked about, that ICS 400 that we did, or of course that you guys did, and I wish I would have taken that, but take ICS courses to learn more about these forums and how they work, and that's going to be your great source compared to.
In addition, of all these forms that are in there, the Red Cross has got some of their own forms that they like you to use.
Mm-hmm.
And if you were ever assigned to work communications at some shelter that the Red Cross was, you'd probably have to use their forms to send out resource requests or information of various kinds. So,
Oh, yeah.
It's right there.
Yep.
Second one down.
Second one down, American Red Cross. Yep. So, which I flip back here because I want to see. I'm pretty sure I saw Red Cross forums, but yep, there they are. Cool. So, that's quick thing on forums. Does anybody have questions on forums? Cool. We'll talk about real quickly an ICS 309 communications log report. Phil, is that something that's...
there again, if you're working under an incident command system of some sort, in some emergency, you would have to use these ICS forms. And they're so standardized that even FEMA requires you to use those, so.
Okay.
Yeah, when I took the online FEMA training after the CERT training, it's the same thing as ISO 9000. If it's not documented, it didn't happen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Depends on what goes on with your incident commander. A lot of these reports, like this 309, is created after each individual operational period.
Okay.
And this goes into the documentation of the total incident for that operating period.
Okay.
And the communications group has to have its own documentation. And there's, of all the ICS forms, and there's a bunch of them, there's probably a half a dozen of them that are required for communications. And that 309 is one of them.
Okay. Yep, that's good to know. Which makes sense because, if you look here, if you click on, in the main Winlink Express window, if you click on message, kind of third or fourth from the bottom, there's a generate ICS 309 communications log button. You click on that. This is the window that pops up. And you can include here your inbox, your read receipts saved, your outbox, anything like that, as well as personnel. I'm sure I think what that is if you've got more than one call sign in Winlink Express, you can check that to include their messages as well. Nice thing is you get a date range, date and time range. So if you enable these, like say you maybe use Winlink for personal use, but you bring your own equipment into an Oxcom situation, and you know for a fact that, I only worked from today or from 2 days ago until today kind of thing. You can set in your date and time that it began and ends, so it doesn't include anything like before that time point. And I'm sure that a lot of this will make sense to a few of you in here. But yeah, your task name and your the operating period, operator name, station ID. And then what this will do is this form, clicking the Generate ICS 309 button will actually make a PDF file. It will actually create a PDF file of your parameters. You do have to specify the output file type. So if you click Browse and you just need to save it somewhere quickly, like your Downloads folder or your desktop, or maybe you have your own Logs folder you want to put it in, just point this dialog to that folder. This is what one looks like. This is an example I found on a website. I don't know how accurate it is. It did say it was a 309, so kind of an example of what a generated one looks like. I know this wasn't generated using Winlink because that is what one looks like from Winlink. And this was one that I actually generated myself. I thought it would be blank, but I forgot I have an email that I saved from somebody in Grand Rapids who emailed me for future reference, and it put that in the log because I did not specify a beginning or end time. So that's what a 309 form looks like, and I apologize, I don't really have any more to go on that one, but does anybody have any questions on the 309? Cool. We're almost done. We'll quickly talk about catalog items. These are really cool. So if you go to Settings, Request Catalog Item, you can see you'll get a window that looks like this. What I would recommend is before you do anything, in the right-hand side here, there kind of down near the bottom, just above the cancel button, there's two buttons. You can request an update via your radio, which will, when you click that button, it will put a kind of a funky coded email in your outbox. Then you start a Winlink session, and then it will send your request, reconnect in like 5 or 10 minutes, and it will update your catalog items here automatically. I recommend doing it via the internet. It's a lot faster. Click update via internet, and within just a few moments, you're good to go.
What are catalog items?
Catalog items are different tools for various things, not tools, but
Newsfeed.
news feeds are different types of information. Like you can look at like weather data for different regions. Here, as you can see, what I have selected, I have news selected. At the very top here is the ARRL Air Race newsletter.
Okay.
Below that is ARRL contest update, the BBC top news stories, and then that last one there is
I
some.
get that on my phone all the time. What do
Yeah.
I need it there for?
Well, you gotta think about it, this is also designed, or is built for those who might be sailing
Yes.
and
Oh,
they're
yeah.
out in the middle of God knows where,
Yeah, there's
and the only,
crazy people that go around the world on it.
yeah.
Yep.
Well, a lot of this is their only means of communication.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
In and off that boat, so
Yeah.
these guys,
that's where they get their news and stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
well, and here's the thing, I think in that list too is when you make like a RF connection, you can download the next, obviously there's propagation in there, but it also generates a list of stations that are available and are up and running,
Mm-hmm.
so that it keeps updating your RF
Man.
link.
Yep.
I didn't know that.
Yep. Yeah. I have to give the guys over at Winlink a lot of credit. They've put a lot into this program, that's for sure. But yeah, and thank you for pointing out the maritime people, Nick, because that's very true. In fact, I've seen a few sailors who make YouTube videos, and they use this. They use Winlink, and they use these catalog items to get their news and their
Okay.
weather reports and things like that. But what you do is if you double click on one of these, first thing that you do here, let me do this. First, you're going to select a category over here on the left. Once you find a category you want, you'll double click on an item from the middle window there. And then once you've double clicked on something, it will show up over on the right-hand side in my number 3 up there, which is your selections. You'll click post request. It will put, another like funky coded email in your outbox. You'll start a Winlink session. It will send it off, connect in a few minutes, and you'll have whatever you requested come to you, whether it's your ARRL newsletter or your BBC News top stories. So that's that. Cool thing about requesting catalog items, you can request more than one at a time, which is really cool. Just saves you time from having to connect multiple times, which is cool. So I just wanted to show that one real quickly. Here's what, I think this one is the ARRL news, or no, this is BBC. This is what a BBC top news email looks like in Winlink. This is what the ARRL Air Race E newsletter looks like in Winlink. So the one last thing I'll talk about real quickly here, and that's grid file stuff. And again, this is probably not quite geared for this, but I'll just talk about it real quickly. If you go to settings, if you go to settings and click on request grid file, this is the window that pops up, and you can form up, down, left, north, south, east, west coordinates. You can use your mouse. You can type in the coordinates directly if you want. Weather information, the duration, like how much forecasting do you need ahead of time kind of thing. And then you can post your request, and again, it puts it in the outbox, and you can send a Winlink email, but you can get wind reports, wave and wave heights, rain reports. I don't even know what all that other stuff is in there, in all honesty, but I'm still playing around with this, but I thought I'd just point it out that this is another cool thing that you can
I
do.
would think for sailors, apparently.
Yes, it is.
Well, if you think about it too, there's a lot of people that live up in the Northwest Territories, up in Canada.
Up in Alaska even.
Well, even, in
Mhm.
Alaska where you're 300 miles from nowhere,
Mm-hmm.
and you got an HF station, you can stay on top of things in the world.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. That's all I have. If anybody has any questions.
Zach?
Yes.
Getting back to the return address, if you were to put the WL2000 in your initial email address when you're sending out an email, and they reply to that address, does that count as?
Yes. If I understand you correctly, what you're saying is if you, as a Winlink user, sends an email to like someone's Gmail address or something like that, and then they click reply, will that automatically put the //
No, if you put it in your initial address to them.
Oh,
Or, okay.
Yep,
So all
I'm
they
with
have
you.
to do is hit reply, it's
yep.
already there.
I'm with you. Here's the cool thing. If you don't need to do that, if you send an email from your Winlink email address to someone's Gmail address, it knows it's a Winlink message, so you can actually just click. So all they have to do is just click reply, and it will automatically add the //
Thank you.
to that. The only time somebody needs to actually physically add the // WL2K to their subject is if they're initiating
Gotcha.
a message.
Gotcha, thank you.
Yep, you're welcome. Anyone else?
Isn't there also a post message, post message put in if it's generated from, RF into the system and it's set to an outside, isn't there a little message that says, to respond to this, please, keep, I thought there was something that
I
was
don't-
like that.
I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think so, Nick. I've never seen anything like that, but maybe, I don't know, maybe I've missed it too, so. But as far as I know, I haven't seen anything like that. Anyone else?
Very good.
Cool. Thanks, Phil.
Well, thank you.
Exactly.
Thank you.